Broadcast journalism is one wide area. Let's unpack the different facets it entails.
Hi, my name is Kerry Kagiri. I'm a creative. I'm a linguist. I'm the voice of hope in the world. Okay, so I studied theater arts and film technology. That's at the Kenyatta University. But I'm currently trying to do a master's. So I'm doing a personal assessment test at BGU. I'm doing it online. I'd say it's been over a decade actually, because I started practicing at 17 years. That's on radio, and then slowly graduated to screen. So over a decade. So wow. So I started on Full Circle on Hope FM, where I did a show with Kubamba. That was in 2007, yeah. And then got onto my own show on a station that used to be called Power Radio 91.1. It was an affiliate of HBR. And then after that, and during that time, got onto, I'm trying to remember it chronologically, but maybe I can't. Then got onto our local radio station at the university. I joined that's Kenyatta University. So we had a show called The Switch. It used to be on 99.9 KU radio. And then after that went to Hot 96. I used to do Inuka. I used to do entertainment news. Then I had various appearances on TV during this time. Then I had a TV show on KTN at 6:30 in the morning for, I can't even remember the name of that show, but I had a 6 a.m. show that we used to pre-record. So it was actually for a company. So they used to pre-record us. We used to do the J Blessing shout out, and then they just sent it to KTN. So I used to play at 6 a.m. on Sundays. And then after that, I used to be like the assistant host for Kubamba when they need a guest host or something. And that's on Citizen TV. Then I had a stint at K24 where I used to host Talk Central with Kaleche Bumo. I used to be part of the panel, and then got onto acting on screen for a while. So I was on NTV on a show called Trap House as a radio presenter. And then I was on How to Find a Husband. I was on Jane and Abel. All this were on Showmax and all these other shows. And then during the same time, I had to sit in for Chris Okinda on Hot 96. Funny story is I had to host a sports show and old school, two things I know nothing about. Then after that, I got onto KTN now, where I did Kubash School Life. Kubash School Life was for... Kubash School Life. Kubash School Life was like epic, let me just say. But wait, before Kubash School Life, I had my own radio show on Kubamba Radio. That was for about 2 years. And that I did 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Got so many nominations for this one show, very interesting. And then started hosting the breakfast show as a sit-in host sometimes. And then now Hope FM, where I did breakfast for 3 years. Then transitioned to Drive Time, and then transitioned out. But through that time also, I've done a lot of K24, NTV. I think by the grace of God, I've gotten to actually walk into most of these doors. I think the only place that I haven't gotten to work, and I would like to work, is KBC. Opportunities are endless, and I would prefer if someone came up to a media house with a solution. And now we're in a state of collaboration. Everyone is their own media house. So everyone has something very interesting to offer. And the consumption of content has become so high. So yeah, it's time for us to collaborate, even with upcoming, journalists. It's time for the other journalists to, just support and engage as much as possible, yeah?
Jina langu ni Emmanuel Terer, mimi ni mwanahabari, mimi ni mlumbi.
Leveraging social media platforms to create a brand like Emmanuel Terer has.
Futilia mbali jumbe ambazo zinakukwaza kwenye simu yako. Usijiingize kwenye midalo ambayo inakufanya ujione asiyefaa. Ikibidi, ondoa nambari ambazo zinakuletea utata katika maisha yako. Jitayarishe mandhari ambayo yanafaa na yanakusaidia zaidi ujipende sana. Salia na Mwenyezi Mungu, kumbuka utatimiza ndoto. Jina langu ni Emmanuel Terer. Piga picha ni Film Hunter.
Voiceover artistry.
I've done recently I did a job for malaria for AMREF. Yeah, so I worked with AMREF to do some job for malaria, like a course. So I voiced like half the course. Taking care of your voice is a whole art, and I think I learned to take care of my voice more by doing because I'm a musician as well, so that helps. Keeping it hydrated, especially when I'm about to do an event, not talking too much, not straining the voice. Try to work very closely with, sound engineers and all these people to make sure that they put for me good levels, so I don't have to shout over the microphone. I'm always warm. I think that's one way I take care of my voice, by keeping my body warm. Yeah.
Freelancing.
My name is Wandabo Wanyama. I'm a broadcast journalist. I studied at the University of Nairobi. I've been doing freelancing for quite some time. I think by the time I was in uni, I had already started, but now I went deep into it in 2021 October. Now that's the time now I dared myself to try and do something different. So that's the time actually I began. The Daily Whistle. Actually, it's an idea that was there for quite some time. So the planning, and you're just working, and then you're thinking, one day I want to have something of my own. So I had it as a blog, and in 2022 now, that's the time actually I decided now to actualize. The Daily Whistle is an online media house where we have a YouTube channel, we have our news website. Basically, we want to tell the stories that other people are not telling. We just want to be different people in the market. And the main reason as to why I had to create it is, when you're a young person and you're trying to go out or to to join the media industry, it's very hard because they will ask you about the experience, what have you done. So this was more of a space for upcoming journalists where they can get the right footing. They can come and host the shows on our YouTube channel. They can write articles on our news website, so that now these ones, they act as their bios when they go outside there to look for other employment opportunities. And also in the long run, we're thinking about absorbing other people also to come and work for us. You look at the mainstream media, so many things have really changed the way they operate. And actually, most of these mainstream media, they prefer to source their news items from freelancers. So it's something that you should have it at the back of your mind, that this is where we are going. And you see, like some international media houses, they don't have like permanent. Most of them, they prefer, they have freelancers who just go do the stories and then they sell the stories to them.
Working with organizations.
My name is David Motwa. I studied at Multimedia University and specialized in broadcast journalism. Currently, I'm in Machakos County Government in public communication sector, dealing with both in-house and public communication, public relations, publicizing both the executive members of the county government of Machakos. Whatever we do, it varies from photography, videography, scripting for TV, for social media, etc.
Advertising.
I was a voice of Fanta regionally for a long time ago, maybe from like 20. It was one of those hip, I don't even think it played in Kenya, but it was like, hi, I'm Fanta. Friday follows me everywhere, something like that. And then I did Fresh Fry. That one was more of a jingle, like singing utamu wa chakula ni mafuta pika biryani fresh fry utamu halisi something uhodari jikoni, something like that. I've done mostly jingles. I've also done a couple of other ads. I really can't remember all of them, but I did put my voice in most voice banks. I did something for Two Rivers Mall when they had like some offers. So just being a voiceover artist, and also at all my jobs, I used to voice ads. I've done, or most recently, actually have one on YouTube right now for Norda Industries. They have some chips, how they're manufactured, stuff like that. Yeah, I'm noticing many big brands are coming to individuals instead of what used to happen a long time ago, which would be to use agency. And so I'm seeing less of agency and more of individuals, especially if the person is well established with a film crew and everything. I'll give an example of someone I really, really like what they do in terms of advertising, called Daddy Mato. Daddy Mato and his wife, Koku Longa, they do a lot of, advertising. There is a lot of money there. It's difficult to negotiate with clients. I also get clients who are like, oh, Carrie, can you do this for me? Can you do this for me? And the offering is not as much as it would be. But also, I know for a long time that most of the agencies have actually been really, really shortchanging artists. So it's a huge balance. I'm glad that now, when you establish a brand, a company can come to you direct and say, I want to work with this, I want you to do this, I like your personality. Or they can pick you and do what we call typecasting and say, the person who I want is Carrie, or someone who can act like Carrie, or can act like Terence Creative, or can act like, whoever it is you like online. Yeah. So yeah, advertising is huge. I mean, if you could find a niche and carve a niche out of it, you'd make a lot of money.
Technical operations.
My name is Dan Stan Keiza. I studied broadcast journalism at Multimedia University. I'm currently working at KBC as a technical operator. That means I do everything technical, from editing, camera operations, sound. Yes. In a nutshell, I have over 13 years experience in the industry, in different places, different capacities. I've worked in a number of institutions and media houses. I've worked at Multimedia University as a media technologist. I've worked at NIBS College, KIPS College, different levels, HOD, head of studio. Then I've worked at Ukweli Video Productions, that is for the Catholic Church in Kenya. I was the lead producer, editor, director. I've worked at KTN. I've worked at different places. Currently, let me just to summarize it. Currently, I'm working at KBC. For you to be a camera person, you need to have creative minds. All directors are camera people, because you cannot direct what you don't know, right? All producers should be camera people. Yeah. Because now, how do you get creative shots for your film if you don't know the shots that you want? Yeah. So I believe camera operations is something that any broadcast journalist should be able to know. Those who are venturing in film or TV production, whether you want to be in production world as a producer or a director. Again, it's something that is easy. People have phones nowadays, and every time utasikia, let me take a selfie, take a picture of this and that. That is camera operations. Some of them will tell you, hii inakaa sijui aje, kuna room mob nini. See, so that is camera operations. That means that it is not hard. But now, the basics for professionalism, you must have them. There's a difference between a person who has gone to a media class, and a person who is just pointing and shooting. We call it point and shoot. Anyone can point and shoot. Yeah, but a camera person, a professional one, will give you serious shots. Sound operation is a very sensitive area for those ones who venture into sound, because a video without sound is nothing. Yeah. Some of us, sometimes when I do some sensitive areas like presidential sound, that one you mess up, you can be fired. In any film there's a budget, let's say maybe 1 billion or 500 million, and you mess up sound, you've messed up a whole production, a whole budget. So sound, as much as it's critical, I can't say it is not doable. The fact that we can do it, anyone can do it. It only requires you to be it's called keen and always alert. Yeah, to the levels of sound, to whatever. You see, when you're carrying your microphones or you're choosing your microphones, you need to understand why you're choosing that microphone. What is your assignment? Yeah? Where are you going to get your audio feed from? Yeah, that is very important. That is why you will realize when you're setting up, we call it rigging. When you're rigging, the sound person is always the last person to finish rigging, because you have to be sure of what you're doing. Yeah, a camera person will carry that cable, run it, and then white balance, and then he's ready. For you, must have multiple sources of audio, and then you have maybe you have presidential, you have the presidential press unit, you have the service providers, you have your reporters, you see. So you need to be very keen and know what line goes where. That is why in most cases sound is done by one person. Camera operations can be done by any. Yeah. Even when you're doing multi-camera operations, they are what we call relievers. But in sound you can't have a reliever. When I set up my sound, you do not know why I set up my sound. So if I give you my sound, you'll start asking me, channel 8 ilikuwa ya nini? Channel 1 ilikuwa ya nini? See? So I start tutoring you when I'm supposed to be working. Yes. But all in all, sound and camera operations are avenues that make you get paid well. Yeah. These days you have vlogs. I don't know. Social media has opened up this space, and people are making money out of it. Once you know camera work and you know sound, you're good to go. Yes. Unfortunately, we don't have enough sound technicians and operators. The people that call themselves sound technicians are people who have just gone to class and learned about a mixer to fade up and down. And that is what they call sound. Sound is a very broad area, and most people fear sound. Yes, most people fear sound. So I'd encourage anyone who is in class, if you can keep attention on sound, probably maybe 1 year, 2 years down the line, you'll be hot cake. For you to be a complete package as a journalist, a broadcast journalist, you need to have, I said, a sound skills. You need to have camera operation skills. You need to have, what else? Editing skills. And then you need to understand how to share on social media. Now, editing is important because now that is where creativity in sequencing comes in. Now, initially we used to have analog editing, and then we have digital editing. Analog editing is where we had the tape-to-tape transfer, film splicing, and stuff. Nowadays we have what we call digital editing, where it's just copy and paste. And then we have what we call live editing. That is when where you have the directors and you have a number of cameras. Unasikia the director telling you camera 1, camera 2, camera 3 on air. Yeah, that is what we call live editing. Directing is another creative area that broadcast journalists do. Yeah. As a director, you need to be good in multitasking. Yes, because you have like 8 cameras or 6 cameras that you look at, and you have to make a decision on what should go on air and what shouldn't. At the same time as it goes on air, you're thinking about the next one. Remember, shots only take 7 to 10 minutes maximum. So you have to be very keen, very attentive to every camera person's angle. Yeah. Again, to be a good director, you must be good at editing, good at camera operations. Yeah, because you will know which camera's color is not good, which camera person's shots are not good, and then you know how to correct it. From my experience, when people talk about journalism, all they think about is you appearing on screen or mtu kusikia sauti yako kwa radio. Yet, for someone to appear on screen, there are more than 10 people who have worked on you to appear on screen. I always tell people who are studying that you need to have that X factor. You need to be all-rounded.
Yes.
Wakati the acting comes, na ulikuwa editing, you jump to directing. Wakikuja kwa directing, you go to camera work. Kuja camera work, you go to you see, you are all round, and there's nowhere no way somebody anaweza ku axe ovyo ovyo tu. Yeah. Again, right now, as the social media has broadened and opened up, we call it media convergence. For you to tell a story, you need all these other technical skills for you to tell a good story. So I always tell and advise people that as much as appearing on screen looks good, having the skill and knowledge is better.
I'd say learn as much as you can, do as much as you can, put out your work as much as you can. Be brave, like step outside the norm, because there's nothing that's easy, even in journalism. And I told you, I had a conversation with Victoria, and she told me the kind of work she puts in to be who she is, because she's a person I was looking to. And I was just like, no, I can't. No. I'm not cut out that way. So it takes a lot of work to be relevant, to be known, to be seen. It takes a lot of work. So start putting in the work now.
Journalism or broadcast journalism is very wide, and any other person who is intending to take that course or is continuing with the course, they should not venture on one area. Let no one say they just want to do radio. For example, in Kenya, we have seen, for example, in Citizen TV, a person like Jeff Koinange is doing TV news anchoring, is voicing or scripting, is also on radio and the other stations. So a person undertaking journalism or broadcast journalism should make sure that they have a wide knowledge of each and every department, each and every area in journalism, being good in photography, in videography, in scripting, in radio presenting, TV presenting, such that when opportunity comes, it will not pass you because I'm a radio person. No. Have the information.
What I can tell them is they should not limit themselves to anything. Right now, we are going through a certain era in media where there is a term called media convergence. Media convergence is whereby media houses are employing people who can multitask. They can do more than one thing. I don't say like you have to master all the things, but at least have an idea about all those things.
Media is an environment that keeps on growing, and new things come every now and then. You must always be open to new challenges. I would advise colleagues, those ones who want to get to the field, embrace changes, embrace all that happens in these media industries, and you will be safe.